Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And some interesting news. The Sharks have announced a few new contracts of some key players. Despite being one of their worst sort of seasons of the last few years, a big moment for them, especially when you look at the fact that a Springbok and World Cup winner are part of the list of players who has committed his future to Kings Park, and he was actually linked with a move potentially away. So it is a pretty big sign to have. Before we go into exactly the list of who the players are, as well as what this means for the Sharks, please do smash a like for the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We'll start with the big name, shall we? Grant Williams has signed a new contract which will keep him at Kings Park for the next 4 years up until 2027, so until the next World Cup cycle. This is big news, obviously. Being a World Cup winner, he's going to be hot in demand. Talks about potentially him moving to Stormers, and obviously, you know, there's a lot of competition between him and Jaden Hendricks, so two Springboks scrum halves in the same squad. Is there room? Can they find sort of their own sort of niche, and can they find game time between them? So that was always going to be a very big debate and a big juggling act that John Plumtree has to do. But Grant Williams obviously bought him to whatever the project is and whatever the chats that they have had with him, and he has committed his future to the Sharks. He's played 54 games for the Sharks. He scored 19 tries, by the way, in that time. It is pretty impressive. Made his debut back in 2022 for the Springboks, and went to the World Cup. Played as wing, actually, a lot more than he did as scrum half. So it is a bit of a utility back in that sort of sense as well. They've also retained Emil van Heerden as well as Henry Jacobs, both 23 years old, for another 4 years as well. Interesting, Emil van Heerden was sort of, went to the Lions, they went back to the Sharks. It sort of being interested to see what was going to happen to him. But obviously, John Plumtree really rates him and has decided to keep him on for another 4 years. And Faison Barter, who's finally back and playing quite regularly, has also extended his contract. He has signed a 2-year deal, and that'll go until 2026. Really good, I think, for him if he gets the game time. I think Faison Barter, you know, he's been part of Springbok squads. He got lineman camp and stuff like that, and then he kind of just hasn't played in the last sort of 18 months as much as he'd like to. He's only 24 years old, so plenty of time. But I really rate him. I was really hoping the Lions, for example, are going to potentially go after him and try and see if they can get him playing regularly. So yeah, I just really hope that, you know, he does find game time, because there are lots of hooker options, you know, in the likes. You know, obviously you've got Bongi Mnambi, who's just made a return, but you've also got Dan Euster, for example, Kieran from Furin. So there are options down at the Sharks when it comes to the number 2 jersey. But the fact that Faison Barter has signed means you'd think that he has been backed as one of the leading hookers in that side, and will probably deputise for Bongi Mnambi once Bongi Mnambi's back to full fitness. So it's good for the Sharks in that, you know, the players still kind of are not yet jumping ship. I think that obviously Grant Williams is a very important signing. I think he's a player you could probably pick where you want to play. I think he'd have offers overseas, like plenty of offers over there. I think he'd have offers from all the unions around here. So, you know, a player like him, you know, who's not that old, and is coming into the peak of his powers. You know, he's won the World Cup, been part of that environment. We've all sort of seen exactly how exciting he can be. And moving into the peak of his years now, I think he's going sort of into his sort of mid to late 20s now. This is in theory where you'll see the best of him. So the fact that they can keep him there obviously means that he believes in the project, and that's kind of the main thing. You know, when the players start believing and start doubting what sort of the project you guys are trying to do, then it becomes an issue. When the players are still sort of behind you and still sort of believing in the project, then the project is still sort of alive. So yeah, let me know what you think about all those contract extensions. And oh, actually, I forgot to mention that Richardson as well has also signed a contract extension, and he is signed until 2026, another further 2 years, Scotland International. Also a pretty big sign, so I was wondering if he might be on his way out as well, potentially even going overseas. Look to try and, you know, add to those, that cap he has for Scotland. So yeah, Richardson has signed another 2 years, playing primarily as a flank now, not really part of the hooker union, but you never know, might sort of see me. I've seen him there a couple of times in the last year, so maybe might be moving back towards there. Very interested to see exactly how John Plumtree views or plans on using Dylan Richardson. But yeah, let me know what you think about all those various signing and the contract extensions, and whether this is a good thing, bad thing, what kind of says about the Sharks down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.